Thank you for staying with us. And we have Barrister Nuruddin Karim here, essay legal to Governor Adeleke. And we have been asking him why the state government has taken the federal government to court. And we learned that particular suit, as regards the seizure of local government funds in Osun State. Now, you know, we had to digress to the election that was held by OSEC in February 22, and the opacity or the transparency of that election, because the figures that were returned in the elections are not made public. But then, away from that now, at least in this instance, let me ask you, some are saying that the reason why the state government is doing this is because you are financially burdened. In fact, let me put it straight that the state government is broke, because you can't continue to shoulder that responsibility, and that's why you just have to go to the court. Why has it taken you 3 months to do that?
Yes.
You thought you could just shoulder it and chest it.
No.
At least.
No.
We learned the state government has been coughing out almost 3 billion every month. Now you are paid like 9 billion, thereabout.
Let me tell you what happened.
Before you tell me, is the state government broke?
No.
Your state government broke?
No. We are not.
So why are you complaining now?
We are, no. When we are saying we are not broke, that does not mean we should sleep on our rights. It is in the interest of the people of Osun State that the governor govern. I'm saying Osun State, we are not broke.
Because he wants his party to remain
the state
relevant.
Government is not broke because as of today, you cannot hear that we hold workers' salary. So how will I confuse that the state government is broke? Even the local government staff, who are direct beneficiaries of the allocations being withheld, the state government is still finding a way around it to ensure their salaries are paid. And as we speak, despite the withholding, they continue to receive their salaries. So if somebody cries out that it is because the state government is broke, that's why they've gone. Now, you are wondering, why did we wait until April before we fight? You will notice that that was a judgment by the Supreme Court, maybe in July last year, to the effect that money meant for the local government to be released to the local government directly. That judgment has not been complied with, because the federal government will say that they were putting in place some logistics for smooth implementation.
They're talking about the financial autonomy.
The financial autonomy
from the Supreme Court.
Of the Supreme Court.
But that's a national thing.
No. What I'm telling you is a national thing. Since July, the question I want to ask you, has that judgment been enforced? Our local government money, the local government money, is it being paid directly? Are local government funds being paid directly to local government? No. The federal government has been saying that.
But that's not the reason you went to court.
They are no. The federal government has been saying that they are putting in place some logistics to ensure smooth implementation of the judgment.
All right.
Now, in February, we thought it was the logistics that were being put in place by the federal government. In March, we thought it was logistics. But we later discovered that other states were paid. So in April, it dawned on us that it was no longer a matter of logistics being put in place.
The Osun State was singled out.
The federal government was deliberately withholding money meant for local governments
in Osun State.
In Osun State.
All right, Barrister Karim. In your prayers to the court, I'm looking at them now. You were particular about withholding of the allocations for the month of March in particular. I'm saying March, repeated over and over again here. What is special about the month of March?
No, it's not about the March. I think it started February,
yes.
March,
but in the prayers, March kept coming up. That March was...
It does not have any significance.
Okay.
So we mentioned 3 months. February,
March, and April.
March, and April. And I would like you to appreciate one thing.
What's that?
That the state government has decided to go to court. It's just the best thing to do. You cannot be ranting, raving here and there. when it happened to Lagos State went to court. This original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court that we are trying to take advantage of, many states have done it. Even this judgment of July the case filed by the federal government against the states in July last year as to local government autonomy. You remember that the case started at the Supreme Court and ended there. That is another instance of the Supreme Court sitting as a court of first instance in a case.
So there's a precedent
because
already.
It was a legal dispute between federal government and state governments. Abia State took federal government to court as far back as 1981, even before the 1999 Constitution. The then Bendel State took the federal government to court over allocation. Abia State took federal government to court over the sharing of offshore revenue allocation.
You also referenced Lagos State too.
Yeah, Lagos State. Even not only allocation. During the regime of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as governor of Lagos State, when the federal government was trying to make some policies regarding urban physical planning in Lagos State, the state government, Lagos State government took federal government to court to say that no, urban planning and physical whatever is in the residual list, not in the concurrent list, not in the exclusive list. So the federal government did not have any legal right to make policies as regards the urban planning, urban or physical planning of Lagos State. And the court agreed with the Lagos State. So it's the same thing we have done. Whenever a state feels aggrieved by one action of federal government, the best thing for that state is to go to Supreme Court. So this matter we are fighting now, we are fighting at Supreme Court, it will end here.
All right, Barrister Karim. Now you've taken the federal government to courts, to the Supreme Court. But at this point, we're talking about local government autonomy in Nigeria. Yes. So my question to you as a legal practitioner is this. Why is the state government championing this cause and not the local government? We're talking about local government autonomy. Yeah. Why are they not the ones taking this case to court and not the state government?
Because as we speak, Section 162, 5, 6, 7 are still in the Constitution. Section 162, 5 or so of the Constitution makes provision, clear provision for the existence, creation, establishment of what we call joint local government accounts. It is not that the state government is not pleased with the judgment of the Federal High Court. But what you are saying, that Section 162 has never been amended. It exists, which provides for the establishment of a joint account for local government, into which all allocations meant for local government will be paid. And also state might have not raised any issue if by now the federal government had started paying the money into various local government directly. Other states, their money funds meant for local government are still being paid
into the joint account.
Into the joint account in other states. Why, in spite of the judgment, but the excuse of the federal government now is that it is not that the federal government is not ready to implement the judgment of the Supreme Court, but they are putting in place some logistics to ensure smooth implementation. But why the logistics have not been concluded, why withholding Osun money?
Why others are being paid?
Why others are being paid? When other states...
Is that a fact?
What?
Do you have your fact that other states are being paid?
They are being paid.
Oh, like what state?
Like Kwara State, Edo State, even against Kano State. Almost...
In this era of financial autonomy.
In this era of financial autonomy.
They are being paid. So you believe Osun State is just being singled out?
It's just being singled out.
For what purpose? Why?
Because the federal government is using its federal might.
For what? To do what?
Osun State is an opposition state.
But Osun State is not the only opposition
state. The federal government, members of APC are the yes or no chairman that the federal court has sacked, that the Court of Appeal has dismissed the appeal.
So, Barrister Karim, are you saying categorically that withholding of funds for local governments for Osun State is political?
In my opinion, it's very political. It's very political. is very political. Because we have in place democratically elected
You said in your opinion,
chairman as we speak.
How about the opinion of the state government?
As in?
Yeah, you said in your personal opinion, you feel it's political. But because you advise the governor on legal matters, what is the governor saying on this matter?
It is a wrong step on the part of federal government. To have withheld our...
So everybody in the cabinet believes it's political.
It's political.
All right, now.
Because I'm saying it's political because as we speak, there are democratically elected councils in Osun State. They were elected on the 22nd of February, 2025.
Which is being contested, by the way.
At the tribunal.
Yeah,
the tribunal is still ongoing. Does that stop them from, as any court, notify the election?
All right, let me read part of this.
Let me say this. As the question is, as we speak today, has any court nullified the election held?
That's the issue. Because
on the 22nd of February, no.
Hold on, sir. The APC believed there was no vacancy ab initio at the council. That's their position.
When there's no vacancy, what is the purpose of the releasing application they filed before the Court of Appeal?
All right. Now, in this suit, it was dated 23rd of April, marked XCCV 379-2025, filed by Musbai Adetunji, SCN.
Yeah.
The counsel to the Attorney General of Osun State has asked the Attorney General of the Federation as the sole defendant. That's Lateef Gbagpemi. Now, beyond this suit, before you go to this level, were there correspondence to the federal government, either the Federal Ministry of Finance, either the Central Bank, to ask them that what is happening?
Yes.
Officially?
Yes.
What were their response?
There was a time the yes or no chairman wrote to the CBN that the CBN should pay the allocation meant for Osun local government into the local government accounts to them. Now, we responded.
To who?
To CBN.
Okay.
Even in that letter, I think the letter was in public domain. The legal advisor, lawyer to CBN, wrote them, replied them, telling them in the certified true copy of the Court of Appeal enrolled order, there's nothing to show that they were reinstated. That was clearly stated in the letter written by the lawyer to the Central Bank. In reply to the letter written by yes or no chairman, when that the CBN needed a proof that they have been mandated, CBN said from returned with all they attached to the letter they wrote, there is nothing as to show that the Court of Appeal has reinstated.
Barrister, that's from the APC end. I'm asking you, as the Osun State Government, have you written to the CBN or to the Finance Ministry?
I'm not coming to that. When we saw that letter, we now wrote to the CBN to reinforce the position of the CBN, to let them know that even apart from the purported from the order which they claim reinstated them, we now we informed, we notified the CBN of the existence of a separate judgment.
You are not answering my question. Let me ask you so that you understand.
We wrote to the CBN that they should not pay.
I understand. The question I'm asking is this. When you realized in February, those funds were being withheld or was not being paid, February, March, April, in between those times, who's supposed to pay this money? I guess it's the CBN through the federal government, right?
Yes, yes.
Now, have you written to them to say, why have we not been paid? Instead of reinforcing a particular position, to ask them question, why are we not being paid?
Of course.
Why is the fund not being paid?
Of course we did that.
What was their response?
Let me tell you something.
Tell me.
The Commissioner of Finance in each state, they have a forum where they interface with the CBN. You know, they are the financial officers of the state.
Absolutely.
They have a forum where they interface with the CBN. The Commissioner for Finance has had reasons, and the Accountant General of the state, to go to Abuja. But like I've told you, we cannot, when you have explained the position to an institution, you cannot force them. The only option, the only civil option is for us to approach the court. And that's why we have approached the court.
Mm. Okay.
We have expressed our grievances.
Mm.
We have explained it to them. Even the letter written to the CBN, we were not copied.
Mm.
But we saw the letter and we took it upon ourselves to respond to the CBN. To let the CBN know, that there's no goof. And even that when we now heard that despite our reply, prayer was being mounted on the CBN, that the monies will be paid to local government, we went to the Federal Court.
All right.
And the Federal Court made an order that the status quo be maintained.
Mm.
Probably that's the reason the federal government has not been able to pay the money to local government. But we believe our people were democratically elected. On the February.
All right. Barrister Karim.
The federal government does not have any reason withholding the allocation.
Barrister Karim, anyway, just before we go on this break, you said you believe there are democratically elected local government chairmen. That's your belief. Again, it is being contested. So there's still a dispute around this. So it's still being contested in court. So,
but no court has.
It hasn't gotten to a logical.
No court has.
Yeah,
nullified the election held.
But it hasn't gotten to a logical conclusion yet. So it's still in court. So some will argue that they are not democratically
elected. Now, when they are in court, has any court asked them to vacate the office? No court. So they are the recognized local government chairman.
All right, coming back to my question, Barrister Karim, you're a legal practitioner, and I want you to be very pragmatic in this case. You've applied, you filed a suit against the federal government at the Supreme Court. What do you think are your chances in this case? What are your chances? In
the state or in the case?
The case of the state, Osun State, against the federal government at the Supreme Court.
Where I'm a legal practitioner. When a matter is sub judice, when a matter is pending before the court, there's a limit to the extent that can go in making comments on our chances in the case. But I believe and I hope we are going to have good results in the case.
So you see
that is the best action
it's coming in your favor.
No, I hope. I can only say that I'm a lawyer.
I understand.
I cannot tell somebody that I'll fight the case, so I'm 100% sure.
It's all right.
The case will be in my favor. I'm a lawyer. So, but I can tell you, we have high hope that the case is going to be in our favor.
All right. So I think that's fair enough, so that we don't run sub judice of a matter.
The matter is sub judice.
Absolutely. But again, Barrister Karim, shortly, sorry, but I'll just go on this break. But again, you know how long it might take. You know, no date has even been slated for the hearing of the case. So you know how long this might take. You are a legal practitioner. You know how it works in Nigeria. Now, pending the determination of this case, how will the local government councils survive in Osun State? But we're not talking about something that will be resolved within a month or 2 or 3.
It could be. The Supreme Court can give us to come next week. Yes, it could be.
Then remember, it's conditional. That's if they do.
Yes. But remember, it is not a matter that we go to the appeal court, from appeal court to Supreme Court. It starts at the Supreme Court. It ends there. Once the Supreme Court renders its judgment on the case, that's the end. So the Supreme Court can call us next week and say, okay, come and hear this case. And they can say, okay, when they hear it today, the following week can say, okay, our ruling is ready.
All right, let's go on this quick break. We will be back. It's still Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. Stay with us. All right, thank you for staying with us. And at this home stretch, let me ask you, Barrister, now, how longer can Osun State Government continue to fund these local governments? And as it is, the only thing that you can do, according to you, because you say it takes the magnanimity over the state governor to keep funding them. They can only pay salary. What happens to infrastructure? What happens to interventions? What happens to the real business of local government administration that has been grounded for months? But because these are the arguments of some people that your principal doesn't want to lose popularity, he must just keep funding and coughing out at least 3 billion every month. How longer can you hold that?
Well,
Paying salaries of people that are at home.
the governor loves his people, and his people love him.
Is it from a place of love, really?
Yes.
Or popularity?
Some governors, even without withholding of allocation, we had some governors in the past who owed worker salary.
Let's talk about Governor Adeleke. Is it from a place of love or popularity?
Love.
Elections coming on next year.
The governor is doing most of the things he's doing now that endear him to people because he loves his people. So how will you tell me it is out of love? When we could have some governors who, without the allocation being withheld, they decided not to pay worker salary. And a governor, even when the federal government has withheld the allocation meant for the government, has now decided to find a way around it to ensure his people.
But Barrister Karim, some might say...
You are saying how long we are going to cope. As we hope that as long as the federal government continues to perpetrate the atrocity, to withhold...
Atrocity?
I call it atrocity. It's a governmental atrocity. When allocation of Lagos State was withheld in 2003, 2004, how did Governor President Tinubu describe it?
The contexts are different.
What context?
The situations are different.
What situations? I'm telling you today, if not for the peace-loving nature of Governor Adeleke, probably by now, Osun State, they will have declared state of emergency, because what they wanted, the yes or no chairman at the local government, they are not supposed to be at the local government. And everybody knows.
Who wanted?
You
said what
you're talking about the APC now,
who
right?
wanted?
No, I mean, if not for the peace-loving nature of Governor Adeleke, who ordered that the democratically elected chairman should not go there to confront them, should let them be. By now, Osun State will have been immersed in a very serious crisis.
All right, and
the governor believes in law.
You are saying the governor loves the people, but again, some people will say it might not necessarily be love, that doesn't really have a choice. He's seeking re-election, so I mean, he's obligated to make sure he makes the people happy. That's what some people say. Does he really have a choice?
Now, let me tell you, you are saying it's because he's seeking re-election.
Maybe.
You are saying it's because he's seeking re-election. Some governors, even when they were seeking re-elections, they were always workers, one thing or the other. You will remember, you are saying because he's seeking re-election, even some salaries, half salaries owed. The government is a continuum, right?
Absolutely.
The salaries, some half salaries owed by the penultimate government, administration of Ralph Aregbesola, a government came, Governor Alhaji Tola's administration came, overlooked the half salaries. Either he pretended or decided.
They said they didn't have the means.
Now, this governor has come and say, I will not only be paying the salaries, the outstanding half salaries. I will still make sure I find a way around it to pay it. And as we speak,
there is enough money to go around, Barrister. There is enough money in every governor's hand.
It takes willpower. It takes willpower.
Every government is an economic entity. Mr. Ojo, no, if they give you...
I'm not downplaying what the governor... I'm only saying there is enough money to go around now.
Every month. That does not mean you don't have any... all your wants are satisfied. The government will always have one or two things. One or two other things to spend the money to. If the governor decided not to pay the half salary, the money could have been used to do some other things, but because he prioritizes the welfare, and that's what I mean by he loves his people. He prioritizes the welfare of the people of Osun State, of the workers. That's why he has decided that I will not spend this money elsewhere. The workers labored, they sweated for this money. I will make sure I pay them. So it's not about it's not about saying because there is a lot of money. How much did Osun State government have?
Are you asking me that?
No,
all right.
No, because
All right.
No, I have to.
All right.
You know the reason why I say, are you asking me that? Not because I'm in charge of the treasury. I'm not, obviously. It's the fact that there was. Hold on, sir. There used to be a particular amount that Osun earns 2 years ago.
Yes.
Before Asiwaju came, there is a particular amount that you are earning now.
Yes.
So by the time you say, how much is the money?
There was
I'm not sure you should be asking
of money that this my phone cost last 2 years. That is a particular amount of money that this same phone costs.
Times have changed.
Today. That was a particular amount of money that a bag of cement cost 3 years ago, 2 years ago. That is a particular amount of money.
Are you downplaying the shortfall from the removal of subsidy?
I'm not downplaying it. I'm only telling you that
you are making it to look like it's insignificant.
it is no for government.
Osun people are watching you.
You are saying no. You don't get me. You don't get me.
Let me get you.
Get me. You have said the amount received by the state government today has increased.
Absolutely.
Compared with what
you used to get before.
Used to get.
That's a fact.
That's a fact. What I'm now saying is that the spending, the cost of the amount received by a worker 2 years ago is not the same that the same worker receives today. The bag of cement, the 3 bags of cement, or 200 bags of them that will be used for the construction of a bridge 2 years ago, it is not the same amount that it costs.
So, Bryce, are you saying there's no significant difference?
There's no significant
even though there's been an increase in allocation.
How much did the dollar? How much was $1 2 years ago? How much is it today?
Let's say about 450 2 years ago.
When people are saying, I've heard some APC members saying,
are you sure the Osun people will be pleased with you with what you're saying right now?
What am I saying?
Because you are downplaying it. You are making it to look like the subsidy oil fall that every state now has is
the inflation has made it insignificant.
What I'm saying now is that it is insignificant in the sense, not in the suffering of the people.
Yeah.
But in the sense that saying the state government now receives much more money, it does not, the money does not have value. The same value
it used to
10 billion we have 2 years ago is not the same value that it has. That's what I'm saying. Okay. I'm not downplaying it. Every Nigerian, most Nigerians are suffering.
All right. All right, sir. Thank you for acknowledging that. All right, Barrister Karim. Now, I'd like to ask you this intricate question for the sake of our viewers. The tenure of the current APC chairman, you call them yes or no chairman.
Yes.
That tenure will elapse in October this year. What will happen in that case when that tenure elapses by October? Because are there going to be fresh elections?
No.
So what exactly will happen if that tenure elapses in October?
Let me tell you
what's the implication of that?
As at today, they are not chairmen. They are just using the federal might to forcefully occupy the local government with the help of the Nigerian police. The Nigerian police that are controlled by the federal government and APC government. They are not recognized under law as chairmen today. The recognized chairmen today are those democratically elected on the 22nd of February, PDP chairman.
But they are not in their offices.
And I'm telling you now, they are, I'm saying they are not chairmen as of today. I can say it boldly. APC, by the judgment of the court, APC, yes or no chairmen are not chairmen.
But they are
occupying local government as housebreakers. They are just forcing themselves on people using the federal might, leveraging on the federal might. The case before the Court of Appeal in Lakure, they are begging the court, so that the court has dismissed their appeal in ABP case. They are begging the federal court with an application, the Court of Appeal, to please release the appeal. Let us come and hear it.
All right. 2 minutes to go.
Now, when their tenure
Barrister,
ends,
we have 2 minutes.
October,
we have 2 minutes.
What will happen? What exactly?
What will happen is this same APP case that has nullified the election, they have never got a way around it. Even assuming, without considering that the Court of Appeal will list their appeal. If the application succeeds, what success is it for them? It simply means that they have a pending appeal before the Court of Appeal. get me right. The application APC people have today before the Court of Appeal. If the application succeeds, if the Court of Appeal grants the application, it is not a success for them. It simply tells word that, okay, you are saying APP case does not have any effect. Why are you going to Akure to?
All right. We have less than 2 minutes to go. Let me ask you.
Now, eventually, it will become
barrister. Yeah.
Okay.
No. I want you to land on that.
Eventually, if the court grants the application, I can tell you that they don't have any grants, any evidence. They don't have any proof to tell the court that the election conducted with just 2 months' notice will be valid.
All right. Fine.
Given the judgment of the Supreme Court,
you have made this point.
In Rivers local government election, the judgment was given barely 2 months ago. It was the same
Barrister, point made. Just a minute ago.
So let the appeal be released.
Right. Now,
let them come and prove to the court that an election conducted with just 2 months' notice will be valid.
Barrister, you have used up all my time.
Sorry.
Less than 1 minute to go. But we appreciate you coming. The gubernatorial election in Osun State will be happening 8/8/2026. I'm sure you're aware. Your team are preparing. In less than 30 seconds, how popular is your principal? 30 seconds.
The governor is 95% popular in Osun State.
By PDP standard.
And I want to give you a test now, an objective test. Just enter any minibus, Korokwe. Just pretend you are a journalist.
Okay. You
can gather your facts. Just pretend that somebody who is just entering Osun State. Just ask the same question. This governor, we don't even know what will happen in this election. If you are not careful, some people will be ready to slap you. If you say anything like
this. It's easy for me to do that.
And that simply means His Excellency is popular. With all the federal government,
the time is up. The time is up. Pastor Nuruddin Karim,
before you start campaigning,
you have to pay for that. Governor Adeleke, we wish the state government all the best, and everyone, even the local government as well, because the people are the ones, feeling the brunt of these, whatever this is. Thank you very much for your time. Femi Ojo is my name. We'll make a return tomorrow. Thank you for being part of this program. I'd like you to drop your comment on our YouTube channel at Western Spring TV. Let's feel your pulse and what you think about this current development. And of course, there are many episodes and very important and thought-provoking, engaging, episodes of this program on the same YouTube channel at Western Spring TV. See you tomorrow. God bless Nigeria.
And Emeka Daniel is my name. Thank you once again for joining us again today. Join us again tomorrow for a fresh edition of Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. Do have a wonderful day. Good morning.